What is up, winning team? Hello, guys. It is like 3 in the morning, and I'm gonna record this video because I just had a nightmare. Shock. And by the way, guys, you know that I always have nightmares before the days that I film the best videos, but nevertheless, I feel like I was having this nightmare because I was visualizing as I was falling asleep this video that I want to record tomorrow, today, discussing religion, narcissism, and my fear of having a daughter, right? And so as I was falling asleep, obviously I'm thinking, this is nice, this is great. And yes, did I get out of bed looking exactly like this? Yes. So if anybody is curious, this is your girl straight out of the bed, right? So I honestly think that I had a nightmare because of my dream, and I'm going to explain why, because it's actually going to encompass all of this stuff we were talking about surviving religion. And because I'm living the exact experience of exactly what I am fearful that my daughter will go through one day at the hands of religious men, or quote unquote men of God. And so I basically was going to make a video talking about how, religion and narcissism work very well together. And there's a reason for that. Religion and the heart of being religious and the heart of being narcissistic is actually the same thing, because it's all rooted on delusion, right? If you're a religious person and you actually think you can do good enough to get into heaven, you are delusional. In the same way that a narcissistic person, if you ask the experts, and I just want to quickly clarify that there's two different types of narcissism that we're discussing here. Narcissistic personality disorder is an actual diagnosed, is something that must be diagnosed, whereas narcissism as a topic area is just a way that you can describe somebody, like how you could describe somebody as arrogant. You take certain characteristics, when they're all partnered together, we consider that narcissism. So the heart of a narcissistic person, and I've been studying narcissism at length the last few years, they really hate themselves, which is why they have to overwhelmingly present themselves as like an expert or as like the best of the best, because they need the validation to come from outward to help create this fake reality, because that's not going to come from inward. Now, this is exactly who is the father of narcissism, the same father of religion, Satan, because that is exactly what he does. That's exactly who he is, right? He's deluded and thinking that he had any chance of being ahead of the Lord. And so he's creating for himself this fake world, which is the natural world that we all are seeing on the outside, to live in that delusion along with whoever else he can get to live in that delusion with him until we all die. Which he knows that day is coming, so do the demons. And this is actually why how this is about to link into why addressing my fears of having a daughter is a bit crazy. So I know that when dealing with religious people, and we're dealing with religious spirits, right? We're going to talk about demonic spirits. They are very angry spirits, okay? So the most difficult high-level demons are all quite violent spirits, right? And the reason why I come to this understanding is because if you don't believe this, find the most religious person you know, particularly one that you know is hypocritical, or somebody narcissistic, right? And try to say anything that I just said to them, because the way they will react will be in anger, because you're challenging this like delusion that their whole existence rests upon, right? You can't just address this and just talk about it. That's why one of the reasons I've learned, and I've had the intuition over the years, that there's certain types of things with people, when you know that about them, you don't address it with them, and you don't try to address them directly, because you're not dealing with your average level issues, right? So like the experts in narcissism, in the psychiatric industry, literally will tell you that don't ever tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist. I'm basing my opinion on my experiences as well as the science that is there and that is out there for us all to see. So anyway, let's go back to my dream and let's go back to my nightmare and let's go back to why I'm fearful of having a daughter. Quite simply put, I don't feel safe on this planet, and I don't feel safe on this planet and because of religious people, because of religious narcissistic people, people who in a lot of senses might be getting a lot of recognition in this world because of them building this up. Because this is the thing, I was having these nightmares for like about a year and a half, the same exact nightmare, same person, a male figure that I'm related to, trying to beat the hell out of me. Like this was an ongoing nightmare, and I would be waking up in the middle of the night, like now, and I would be crying to the Lord, like now, like why is this happening? Like why is this happening to me? Now, obviously, in wisdom, I've gotten to the point where you see where how this took me a year and a half to figure out why this was happening before. Now I already can figure out why I had this nightmare, which is of somebody else, because the kingdom of darkness is threatened by me using my voice because I will actually set the captives free, which is what I'm doing. The attack always was in my dreams. Every single time I would start to speak about certain things, like stuff like what I'm talking about now, as soon as I start to speak about them, or I start thinking about speaking about them, so I haven't even spoken yet, literally inside my dreams, the second I open my mouth and the more I talk, the more the anger would be triggered in this particular individual, and they would be trying to beat the hell out of me. And when I say beat the hell out of me, I mean like beat the hell out of me. It was scary. And the saddest thing, and I think this is the crux of why this is happening to me and why I want to share this, because I am fearful of having a daughter for this reason. In all of these dreams, no one will be there to defend me. Like literally, in fact, there will be a whole bunch of people there just watching. And I have got into a real life situation in real life that I'm going to talk about here, which is one of those things that I really want to talk about. But, you know, it's a bit of a difficult one to talk about. And you might say that I shouldn't say certain things on the internet because of whatever, but I'm already fearful, like me just existing as I am right now, I'm already unsafe. Like I'm already unsafe as it is. Like it's not going to get any worse than how bad it is already, because the fact that I've even been speaking up, and the fact that I've even been doing what I've been doing, the fact that I've been defending the children and trying to help with the kids, the fact that I've been speaking on my own behalf, all of this stuff is already making it unsafe for me, which is why I didn't want to talk in the first place, right? So I've had to just trust in the Lord that He, you know, is the one who will look after me, which I believe is why I feel safe now. So here's what happened. It was my 21st birthday. My 21st birthday party. And I'm going to be very vague because it's not about the people, it's about the situation. And I'm talking about this for myself because I guarantee you that all of the parties involved in what I'm about to talk about, and none of them prioritized how I felt, right? And this is exactly the crux of what I fear for my own daughter one day. So it's my birthday. I had a severely bad feeling, probably the worst feeling I've ever had about something, where I was like, I feel like I just need to back out of this situation, right? I feel like this isn't a good situation because some people that I'm related to were throwing me a barbecue, which if anybody knows out there, anybody that knows me, barbecue is my favorite. Like my favorite cuisine is probably Korean barbecue, and my favorite thing to do is barbecue. I love a barbecue. I'm an outdoors gal, okay? It's literally my dream to perform on stage in the middle of the woods somewhere while we're having like a huge barbecue and just watching my little kids running around, enjoying life, feeling safe. So as a barbecue, I had such a bad feeling that morning because a lot of things were not going right. And at the time, I was in a relationship, okay? I've been in one long, serious relationship. Now, as I'm supposed to be going to meet said individuals that I'm related to for my birthday barbecue, I wasn't feeling good about the situation because, I don't know, I could just sense something was off. Lo and behold, lies had been told behind the scenes. And so a lot of the male figures that were around had some kind of anger for some reason, justly so, because another male figure had been spreading lies, basically. So what ends up happening, fast forward, is there is a physical altercation, as in to men going to kill each other, right? Two men whom I cared about deeply. And so when all of this went down on my 21st birthday, of course, all of the adults, including all the men, excluding the men involved in this, did nothing at all. Who resolved the situation? This girl here. And you know what? I don't even think it was wise, but I could have never forgiven myself for either of these two individuals being dead if it was on my birthday and I'm the reason we're all here. Obviously, if I had even a thought that this would happen, it was only the fact that I was having this strong feeling. I remember saying to the person I was with at the time, I was saying, you know, I've got such a bad feeling about this. I don't think we should go. I don't think we should do this. And he was like, oh, it's going to be fine. And I was like, yeah, but you don't know my family. And it's funny because at this point in time, I didn't even know my family like the way I know them now, to even know how truthful it was. It's almost like it was like the Holy Spirit speaking or something. So I'm the one who resolves the situation. And this is where the foundation of me just being like, wow, I literally can't rely on anyone. I have no one I can rely on. And all of the men who I should be relying on the most in the world right now, I can't rely on either. And are the very men I'm worried about. Because this is what happened. In my dream last night, it was another one of these types of people. I'm not in that relationship, by the way. That's long over. But it was another guy that I'm related to, that I should feel safe around, and I should be able to be looking for this thing called protection, and that apparently exists on this planet. Love to meet her, love to meet him, don't know him. Protection, that is. So I'm here, like, again, the second I'm now thinking, because like I said, in all of these dreams, every time I would be being beaten up by this individual, the reason why I would be, like I said, being scared of that is because I'd be speaking out. Same thing happened to me last night, but different person. Where again, whenever I'm in my winning seasons, right? So when I'm, this is the funny thing, and this is the scary thing for me about winning, and one of the reasons why I'm a bit like, I don't know how much I want to have my attention be out there for the world to see and know that I exist. Because every time that I'm in a winning season, so like right now, I'm obviously winning. Like behind the scenes, things are going well. Even this video that I was going to film, it's all to do with a new series that I'm doing on YouTube, which I've been wanting to do for literally forever. And I'm so happy about, so many things are going well. But of course, in the midst of all of this, the Lord is also working through my feelings with me and my like issues, as he always does. And one of the things that I realized today or yesterday now is that we're working on now is this whole thing of me feeling like I don't have a voice and like my voice doesn't matter, right? Because again, in these scenarios with these individuals and my experience as a whole with my family, if I can be completely honest, I feel like I'm always either being told what I should think, or what I do think, or what I should want to think, or it's like what I'm saying myself is never enough. Basically, like I can't just say if I say even me just saying I don't feel safe, for example, someone and somewhere people for some reason have to try and tell me, oh, it's not that I don't feel safe, it's that this, or I don't feel safe because of this and it's my fault, right? Because if it's not any of those, the only other option is that it's my fault and I'm the problem and I'm always the problem, right? And so I realized this because I realized that for the first time yesterday when I was encountering a situation like this. Now you have to understand how rare these situations are, because I'm not engaging with these kinds of people for the most part as much as possible. I'm not even engaging with them, right? But I had one conversation, obviously me being the fool, trying to give people another chance. And sometimes it's the voices of others like that gets to my mind, because people are like, oh, I'm sure that they don't, that I'm sure they mean well. I'm sure they don't mean it. I'm sure they don't mean it. Yeah. That is how we've ended up here, because I had a conversation, right? And after said conversation or conversations, same thing happened again. Normally, I would be blaming myself and thinking, oh, I need to change everything about myself. I'm the problem, because I'm always the problem. And the problem is when you're the kind of person who can handle a lot of things in this life, it doesn't get easier for you. Like, it's not that people look after you. And this is one of my biggest fears, in having relationships, particularly a romantic relationship, is that I just don't like the fact that why are people more inclined to take advantage than they are to look after something that they claim to value? Because like my thing is, if I if I have something good, whether that being my own like physical things or people, my default position is to go out of my way to look after and appreciate said things. So even if you're a strong person, I'm not going to try and add to your levels of needing to have such a high level of strength. I'm going to appreciate your strength, and if anything, try to take some weight off of your shoulders, because I know what it's like. Because like I said, this is what I'm trying to say, there is nowhere where I'm going to get any kind of strength from somebody else. There is no one who can handle as much as I do. And then because I'm short, and because I have a baby face, and because I have patience, and because of all of this, it just gets taken advantage of. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to sit there, if I can be completely honest, and just bear the brunt of the anger of just emotional, feminine men. And then I'm scared for my life because I know that you're stronger than I am. So yes, I should speak up. Yes, I should go to the police about certain things where I should have been going to the police. And yes, all of this. But what people don't understand is when there's no one else, it's just me. It's just me alone. So if I call the police and I don't have enough of evidence, then I'm just going to be stuck, and they're still going to have access to me. They're still going to be able to find where I am, which is one of the biggest reasons I've been trying to move like the plague. Because right now, as we speak, all of the people that I feel the least safe around all know my physical location. The physical location I'm in now. For all of them, even if they were to watch my video, they would know where I am based on the video itself. And you might wonder, well, why do I speak up about stuff anyway? Because genuinely, I know the Lord actually is protecting me. This is how I know. This is why I think when people are like, oh, is God really like real or whatever in your life? I'm like, listen, God is real. Because if it wasn't for him, I know that if it wasn't for him, I would not be here as I am, like even in any way, shape and form. And that's what I realized when I started to think about talking about this stuff more, which, if I can be honest, this is the deepness of where I'm at emotionally at the moment, is that I really just don't feel safe on this earth. I don't feel safe around people. And that's why I'm not asleep, guys. It's 3 a.m. I should be asleep. Why am I not asleep? Because I don't feel safe. I don't even feel safe enough to sleep. Because how can I feel safe enough to sleep when I feel like I could just be easily found where I am? How am I supposed to have peace? How am I supposed to, like, you know what I'm saying? And then so this is why I'm fearful of having a daughter, because the way I'm looking at it is I'm like, well, I don't even feel safe here. So how am I going to lie to my child and say, oh, by the way, yeah. Or what men am I supposed to tell them can be trusted? Because it's not going to be, in my experience, it's not the ones that you relate. It's not the ones you're supposed to be able to trust. So I now have to just take on the entire responsibility, if I ever decide to even have kids, of who is this man I'm going to have children with. Because that for me is like, I have to feel like there is like virtually no way that my child, my daughter, for one singular second is going to deal with this. And you might wonder why I am specifically at risk. Well, because for some reason, all of these individuals, again, religious, deeply religious, narcissistic people, because obviously they're deluded. Like, I have more, realistically, I have more of an actual backbone than you do. I'm stronger than you do, and it's your mental weakness is why you're like this in the first place. So, you know what I'm saying? So the delusion is where I realize that I am actually above mentally all of these people, strength-wise, because I don't have a whole bunches of people kissing my butt. I don't have people just absorbing or enduring my poor behavior. I don't have that luxury at all. I don't even have anyone. I don't even have anybody that I can go above me, that I can say, oh, this person I would call because this person is actually going to do something, because I'm more likely to do something. And the only people who are likely to do something are the ones who would do something against me just for trying to live my experience as a human and be honest and be open and try to, overcome my various issues for the sake of others. And then, why is this happening now? Because it's winning season again. So now that I'm winning, now that I'm thriving again, it's always now when these people, and I know what it is, it's because they can see my win and they feel like they deserve the win themselves, or they have some kind of a right to be a part of it. And it's like, no, you don't, because you weren't there with working as hard as I was. You didn't have you don't have the strength. Sorry, you ain't got the minerals to endure what I have to get to here. Because yeah, it's all gonna look fun and it's all gonna look amazing and they're all gonna be like, wow, she's doing so much, she's so this, and everyone's gonna add, and I already know how it's gonna go. It'll be these same people. It is always these people. This is why I had this dream last night, I can tell. Because this person, the way that they were reacting to me in particular, I can see that it's because they are offended that I'm actually happy, that I'm actually making decisions to do things that are making me happy, that I'm actually having opportunities. Because again, if we're going to call a spade, if we look at the facts of the matter at the end of the day, not one of them can possibly compete with what I've achieved in this life already. You can't compete. You can't even tell me that you can handle as much as I can. So when you're seeing me going to another level, and the entitlement is like, why do they not have it for themselves? Meanwhile, deep down knowing it's because they don't have what it takes inside of them. And so that's where the anger comes from. Because also I'm a woman. So it's like, it's like the story I was telling you guys of my friend that I rekindled a relationship with. And, one funny thing, and I was telling you about how she was beating all the guys at pool on the day that we met. And the funny thing is, me and her have had the exact same poor experiences with the male community. This whole like weird jealousy thing of like, how can she be doing this? How can she achieve all that? We've both had the same experience in that department. And I think it's one of the reasons that we get along so much, because we understand that like men are definitely split into two categories, right? You do have men who are men, right? Who would not dream of doing any of these things and would actually rather remove themselves before ever getting to a point where they would do some of the things that me and her have both endured in this life. And then you have the other men, and there's a reason why I finally understood why guys call other guys bitches. Because that's exactly, I hate to use bad language, guys, but that's exactly what they are. Female dogs, and those are the dangerous ones, because I've even noticed that from dating, right? That it will always be these good guys that have this pent-up anger towards women because of their experiences. They'll be like, oh, the entitlement that they have. They'll look at it like, oh, well, because I've done this and I've done that, I am entitled to you. There's the only reason why you're not with me, and it's the delusion again. The only reason you're not interested in me is because you don't understand how good I am. And or it's because you're a woman and you women are idiots these days and you don't appreciate something good when it's in front of you. And I can always tell when I meet these kinds of guys, because there'll always be something really small that will happen. I'll critique them in a very small way and it will be like a fuse goes off like this. A fuse goes off. Like I've said, this is one of the reasons I've not been dating as well, to be honest with you. The only dates I've been on recently is with a guy who is a detective. Because I'm like, you're the guy of all the men that I've met in my entire life that in first meeting, I can sense that he would never dream of doing a lot of this stuff. And that alone is the only reason I'm even prepared to see this guy. Right. But anyway, and so, it could be something so small and they'll blow the fuse. Like I said to you, this guy was like that. Very nice man, works a good job, looks after himself, average guy, just a good average dude, right? And I remember he asked me, he was like, is there anything that you haven't liked about our dates so far? I think we've been like maybe 2 dates, right? And I was like, well, for the most part, I've been happy. The only thing that I wasn't really a fan of is you've been late. Now, I purposely allowed for this gentleman more than once to be as late as he was going to be, just to see how far he's going to go. Because I kind of feel like, you see, as a woman as well, people will take advantage of you. Some people will take advantage of you if they can get away with it. And so one of the things I test out very early on talking to guys is, how much respect are you going to show without me having to ask for it? Because I can beg for a lot of things. I don't like to beg as well. But let's see how far you're going to take it, because I know I'm not going to waste your time. I know I'm not going to take the mick because I value your time. Your time is precious. So you see what I'm saying? Anyways, so when I say he was late, I think he was like an hour late, and then like maybe even more than an hour late for the other time that we were supposed to meet, right? So I just mentioned offhandedly, I was like, yeah, well, we have been a bit late. And then this guy's like, whoa, well, I can't believe you would say this. You're not being understanding towards my life situation, blah, 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 blah. What's your star sign? What's your star sign? I bet it's because it like, and this is what I'm saying. This is what happens. This is how I've learned to separate the two sides of the male community, because men will actually do, like the real men who don't do this stuff, they can't envision ever behaving in that manner. Like it's not even in their, like, it's not even, I don't even know what the word is for it. It's not even something that's doable. Do you know when it's doable? When it's people like these guys, and it'll be these guys that are actually to be scared of. Can you understand what I'm saying? And this is why I actually feel more comfortable around a lot of the guys that would not be considered good, because this is the truth. It be the guys that you sometimes men don't like to see us around, who are the ones who make us feel more safe, because they might do this type of thing, but guess what? They would never do that. So meanwhile, I'm talking to a good average guy, and then people say, oh, you know, women today, they don't appreciate good guys, they just want bad guys. It's like, yeah. I used to go to this male prison, long story. My ex was in prison for a while. That's a story for another day. And I would just like to say about him as well, that I still trust him. I would still trust him more with my child than I would any man in my family. I'll just say that for now. But I remember I used to go to these male prisons in London, yeah. And I was like, why do I actually feel safer here? Because the guys there, yes, they might have done X, Y, and Z, but when it comes down to it, they're not going to be the ones who would do these types of things, like violence towards women or sexual crimes. The rest of the guys are not going to stand for it. So yeah, he might do this, or that person might do that, whatever they did to get themselves there. But I felt safer going there. I felt quite safe. I felt quite safe. I felt safer than in my childhood home. Can you imagine? And so, you know, these are my concerns with having a daughter. Because I'm just like, first of all, the male community isn't even to be trusted. This is why, if it's not for the Lord, I thank God. I know God is protecting me, because some of the things that I've been through and some of the things that I've seen, you wouldn't believe it. And all of these people are the classic. A lot of people in society would trust in them. You know, they would even use, all of these people I'm talking about have also weaponized Christianity for their behaviors. This is what I'm trying to say when I say that this is like the next level. Like weaponizing their Christianity, either for people to like be in favor of supporting them and like believing them over me, or against me to make me somehow either feel like, well, I deserve what's happening to me because of my ungodliness, or like they're justified in doing what they're doing because of some kind of twisting of the religious stuff. And this is again why or them just taking the religious stuff and, like I said, and having that kind of religious narcissistic disposition where they feel justified. As if you guys think that it's crazy that I'm saying this, who killed Jesus? The Pharisees and the Sadducees. Even them, what did their jealousy and their religious spirit turn into? Murder. Same as Cain and Abel. What happened with Cain and Abel? It could have, the God says, if you do well, will you not also benefit the same way as your brother? The same way, like I'm saying to you guys about my experiences. It's like, if you got right with God, would you not also be in your own winning season right now? But instead of doing that, you're over here trying to take me out, as if somehow I and what I'm doing, you're going to get it in the other side. Can you understand? Like, when I'm talking about this stuff, guys, I know it sounds crazy, but I know that I'm not crazy in this stuff. I know that this stuff is real and this is how it is. Now that I'm in winning season again, I'm like here waking up, it's like 2:30. I really am so tired because I've been working and I've been starting a new role as well on top of my old role and preparing everything. I've been exercising, so my body is like in so much pain. I'm off today. I just wanted to have one night's sleep and then wake up just after sunrise, go and film this video and spend the whole day doing things that I enjoy. Like, I'm supposed to be going to this to work on my song again, which I haven't even organized with the guy, and then filming a couple of videos that I really wanted to film, and just having a nice wholesome day. And purely as soon as I decided I'm gonna record this video in the morning, and I know why it's happened, because I'm not in the season of like where I'm going to let this fear stop me. That's why I made the video regardless, because it's like, I'm not going to be silenced. It's not fair that people who go through stuff like me have to keep silent to protect other people. It's not fair. It actually isn't fair. And this is why I don't want to have a daughter, because I'm like, people be like, oh yeah, you'll be good, you'll make a great mom. I'm like, yeah, but you're the same people who tell me that I should shut up and keep things to myself out of fear of safety. So if I have to do everything out of fear of safety, then why would I have kids? Why would I bring anybody into this world if even I myself don't feel safe here? And I only feel safe because of the presence of God. If it wasn't for the presence of God, guys, I don't know where I would be. I promise you, it's only the presence of the Holy Spirit that I can feel inside of me. And do you know what? The presence of the Holy Spirit feels exactly like the presence of being around a real man. You know, like when you just feel very calm and like you could actually sleep for the next 15 hours because of how safe you feel, just knowing that that person is there. It is a rare occasion, I have to admit, for me to have experienced, but I know it when I see it and I know it when I feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Ruth and Boaz in the Bible, and how Ruth, she just stayed there, slept on the floor in Boaz's room. I can imagine that. And he also didn't take advantage of her. If you notice, he didn't, in the Bible, she says he didn't take advantage of her. He still went through the proper process of being with her. I can imagine that she was able to do that because she could sense, she could feel energetically the peace of being around like a real life grown man. And so, you know, that's how I feel with the Holy Spirit. That's what the Holy Spirit feels like inside of me. Like just this like peace of like everything is going to be fine and you're okay. And you're going to be okay because I'm going to make sure that you're going to be okay. And that's why I really believe on so many occasions I have experienced literally the protection power of God as we speak right now. That's why I'm not fearful. And that's why instead of allowing the seeds of what was happening to stop me from filming the video I was going to film later today, I was like, screw it, I'm going to film the video now. If I'm not going to get to sleep, if you're going to be bothering me, because I know even with these people, it's not them, it's the demons. It's the demons inside of them that do this. It's the demon of religion. It's the demon of narcissism. It's the demon of bitterness. These demons that are not happy to see us winning, because the kingdom of darkness isn't happy for me to win, because now that I'm winning and now that you guys are going to see the win, it means that people are going to be, the captives are going to be set free. There's going to be hope out there. People are going to be being inspired. More and more people are even reaching out to me these days and talking about what's going on in your own lives. So of course, the kingdom of darkness, what are they going to do? You think the Satan's just going to be chilling there like, you do you, queen, go off? Of course not. He's going to be like, oh hell no, not on my watch. Not on my watch is this going to be happening, because I need you to be silenced so that all of you can be living under this slavery, under this bondage of not being able to speak up while I let these people get away with crazy things. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. So yeah, that's why I'm dealing with my issues of just being fearful of having a daughter, because I honestly, if I got pregnant when I found out it was a girl, I will be a wreck, thinking, what have I done? What have I done to this poor, innocent being? Like, I would feel guilty for bringing my daughter into a female into this planet. I would feel guilty to do that, because I myself am constantly having to like feel like I need the protection. I'm here praying for the protection of the Lord as I'm still waking up. I'm like, Lord, protect me, like praying prayers of protection over myself. So that is what it is, but that's the situation. And that's the thing about these demons. This is why I know it's demonic, guys. It's not just arbitrary. It's not even the people. It's the spirits at work. Because why do I not feel this way? And why do other people not? Because they're not in these types of jealous type religious stuff, which is not inside of them. So there is nothing, there's no trigger. There is no entitlement. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, yeah. Please please, the one thing I will ask you guys, don't start asking me and worrying about my safety in the comments, because it's literally not going to change anything and it's not going to help. The only thing that's going to help is the power that is already the most powerful on earth, which is Jesus Christ himself, which is why I trust in Jesus. Because if it wasn't for him, I would not believe there's a power strong enough to go against some of the stuff I've ever been through in my life. This is why I know that Jesus is real. Because I literally I know that Jesus is the one here, God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. These guys are my support, my protection system. at the moment, why I can still move on with my life and still go out and still leave the house. Because I started to think, should I maybe not leave the house? After this dream, I was like, should I maybe not leave the house? Should I maybe not do this? And then I was just like, why would you do this? I almost shut down my YouTube channel last year because of this stuff. Anyways, guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. And I'll see you in my next one.